preparing to put the hull plating on the Star Destroyer. Got one of my templates here, another template there. This one here I got a little impatient with. This is what it looks like when you peel it off. This is what's left behind. And you can see that one there. I had to end up going in. It didn't cut it completely like I wanted it to. And kind of got close to the edge there. But I mean, it'll be just fine. You can see this one's got more missing. And it's also got some big fat spots there. Because I got impatient. And I tore it. So, but this one here I'm going to trim across the bottom. Just kind of trim right across here and get rid of the ugly part of it, and use this on the smaller sections. And then this one's going to go, and all you do is just lay it down and then airbrush through it and peel it up, move it, and just keep moving around till you get the coverage that you want. The idea here is not to, when you lay this down, you don't want these really defined in there. It's just to make it's to give it some character and make it look like hull plating and Aztecing, if you will. These don't really have Aztecing on them, but just to give a little interest into the paint. And I got the other one over there. That one's already done. I'm just waiting to put it in the airbrush booth. So be back and I'll show you what it looks like after they're sprayed on. And here is what I'm going for. Just got the 1/2 done. I'm going to do the bottom while this sets up a little bit, because I got to transfer that tape over to this side so I can hit the other side. I don't want, you can see like where you see some overspray. That's before I started masking it off. When I hit this, I shot this part first, and then I realized that I had overspray. After I shot this section, I had overspray onto the first one, so I started masking in between the panels. So this part here I'm not as crazy about, but it still gives it character. So I'm going to get the other side. I'm going to get the entire bottom done, or maybe just half the bottom done, and then finish this. So I'm doing half and half, and then half and half, if that makes any sense. So okay, there it is. About an hour later. I didn't do a whole lot on this. I just wanted some attention drawn to the neck section, and kind of got it up on the sides of the back, which is fine. It'll blend in. I didn't want to do a whole lot of the Aztecing, or I keep calling it Aztecing, the hull plating to that. But as you can see, it's lighter in some spots, darker in some spots. So I got a lot of variation in the tones of the white. And what I sprayed with, here it is. I just used the white Stynel Res, and as you can see, I've got still got some on my hands from cleaning my airbrush. And with this, if you wanted to, which I'm not going to, but if you wanted to, you could take this and you could lay it down in a different pattern, take a different color paint and shoot in spots, and it would give you even more variation. I went this direction. On the bottom part, I started here, and I tried to stay away from the lines, but you can still see definitive lines there. But and I think that's the way I set the pattern up, because you can see a line right down the middle here. And what I did is I created 4 individual masks, and I put them all together to create a larger mask, and then I shrunk it all down. I can make this as large as I want, or I can go a whole lot smaller, but I just laid it down in this direction, painting it, and then when I got to the end here, I flipped it around the opposite direction, and that allowed me to shoot the entire end of it there on each side. So like I say, if you wanted to, you could add more tonal variation by adding different colors and stuff. Now what I intend on doing, and it's kind of hard to see now, but I'm going to come back in, and this ball section, I'm going to make it black just like this. I'm going to come back in and mask off around the hanger bay, and this one here as well, and I'm going to shoot that black and like I say, it's very, let me see if I can lean this up here without scratching it all to hell. It's very difficult to see, but there's a pattern here. And all this is a raised section, so you can see the line come down here and across, and then it goes out this way. Well, what I'm going to do is mask that off, and so when I paint this, I'm going to shoot all this black again, and then that'll leave me the whole plating out on the flatter surfaces, and then that'll give me a different different variation if I go stark black. That's why I left the edges black, the shuttle bay, the hanger bay. And I didn't do, you can see like right there's, a spot and you'd think I'd missed it, but it's not where I missed it. It's just I wanted more variations of the pattern and stuff. So, and I tried to stay perpendicular with the lines across this way. You can see the line right there, and it almost lines up with the plating. But that's how it is, or that's how I did it anyway. So set that back up. So I'm gonna let this set up, and then the final deal will be to come back in and put the top coat on it. And once the top coat, I'm ahead of myself. I'm gonna paint this in black, and then once I get the black painted in like I want, and it's only gonna be on the bottom. I don't think there's any spots on the top of it that I'm gonna paint solid black. Maybe not. I don't know. But then after I get the black on it, then I'll come back in and give it its overall coat, and it'll tie everything together. And then once that dries, seal it up, and we can start putting the lights and fiber optics in it. And then we'll be well on our way being done. And I keep saying we. I sure wish there was more than one of me in the shop. But there it is. And here is the result of the top coat. Got the rear section painted. I mixed like a 60-40 mix, or actually like a 70-30 mix of the gray and the white. You can still see the whole plating through. Exactly what I was after. I may go back in and touch up some spots. You can see really good there on the bottom. And what I did, I went back in and I painted that section all black, and then all around the hanger bay, done that in black as well. And here is the bridge section. So very subtle, exactly like I wanted it. So once this cures, I'm going to hit it with probably a satin coat, because I plan on putting some washes in a few places, like along the edges and stuff, and then start putting lights in it. I'll get the rod mounted down and get it on the stand, on the temporary stand, and then I still got the engine bells to paint, which I got to hit them with black, and then gray, the mixture gray, which is in that little bottle there. And that won't be anything. I've just got I've got the 7 bells that go on there, the 3 big ones and then the 4 small ones. Then I can start putting lights in this thing, lights and fiber optics. I realized on the last video that it didn't show the whole plating like I anticipated, so you can see all the shadows now, and it gives give you a better idea of what the detail it added by doing that. Even get up a little closer, you can see it. I just wanted to go for subtle paneling, if you will, and I went a little heavier in spots with the gray, like you can see the plating there a little better, and that's what I wanted. I didn't want it to be the same uniform tone all across the thing. You can see paneling looks pretty good, my opinion anyway. Same here. as the light catches it, you can see the different panel shading. And like I say, this part here, that big triangle piece there, that was painted solid black and then painted the gray over it, so there's nothing there, so that it breaks up the paneling from there to that. So, and I did the same with the outline from this edge here all the way around the hangar bay. So it gives you a better idea of what I was after. You know, there's a method called carding, and it's I'll just use this Mission Models thing as a, you take this and then you airbrush along you would follow the main grid lines, and you would airbrush on the paper at the edge. If I can get this thing to cooperate, you'd airbrush on the edge of the paper, but the overspray would go off the edge, but you would have a defined edge, and that's called carding. And you just follow the grid lines and spray wherever you wanted, and then you could come back and do it perpendicular of it, you know, make it anywhere you wanted. And but instead of doing that, you know, I see a lot of guys doing that with this ship, but instead of doing that, I went with this method. Like I say, I think it looks pretty good. It come out exactly like I wanted it. So, but I just wanted to have a little better shot of that. All right, well, I got everything flat coated. I'm starting to put some fiber optics in the sections there. Got the rear of the ship mounted on there in the engine section. It's also mounted to the rod. I got it, and you can see it's not moving at all. So I may not have to have that front support like I had talked about before. I got it, you can see up here, I got it epoxied in. I've got a nut and a washer just like this down underneath of it. They got the one here on the bottom, and then on the inside there's one that is tightened down. I epoxied that, and then I come back in and put this big washer in here, and then epoxied this in, you know, tightened it down a little bit and epoxied that in, and I kid you not, I'm picking up the front of the thing, so it's a good possibility that I won't need oh, where is it? Here it is, back here on the back table. I made this for front support for the so when I put it on the main stand to kind of support the front of it, but it's looking like that I won't have to. Got the, and I'll try to get this hooked up. There we go. Got the lights in. I've got some things that I'm going to put in here to talked about before, diffusing the light here. I'm not so worried about these, but I'm going to diffuse that light, and you can see on my fingers how bright that's some bright lights, man. But yeah, I'm getting it. Finally getting to the part of putting all the lights in. Next thing up on this part is I'm gonna run the LED tape down both sides, and then tie that into the main engine section. Probably gonna shorten these wires up quite a bit. That's just too much of a rat's nest there. We'll run the main wire up through, and then what I always do when I run the main wire up through it, I tie a knot in it, so if for some reason or another it gets pulled, it doesn't pull everything out of the top of it. And I will also epoxy, no, I won't epoxy it, I will hot glue it down on one side there, so it'll be nice and secure. Things won't get pulled out. Getting ready to make the brackets and start putting the LEDs in there. As you can see, so all those little holes will have the fiber optics in it. So I'm getting excited. Getting like I say, finally starting to put the lights in this thing. And what I had mentioned here was starting to put the fiber optics in all these sections, like this one and this one here and that one. But got ahead of myself. I need to, this is what I've come up with. I'm going to put the brackets in like that. And then I'm going to run the LED tape. I'm going to have probably, I think I had 6 brackets. Maybe I may just put the 4 in, 2 on each side, or I may put 1 on each end, so that'll give me a total of 6. But what I'm doing is I'm going to run 3 layers of the LED tape in here, and this I'm going to have to put the LED tape in here, because when you put the top on the bottom, this brace here goes right across here, and I won't be able to, unless I guess I could bring the wire up and around. No, see, that's what I'm thinking differently. I'm gonna have to have the LED tape in here, because I was going to have it with the big wrap around of the lights there, but with that bracket being here, the brace being there, this won't get the light that it needs to get, so I'm going to just run a section of LED tape in there. But working on it, like I say, once I get that done, then I'm going to put the LED tape in there, and then I'll continue putting the fiber optics in. So got tulip on it. I bloomed the fiber optics and pulled them through, and now I got this whole section here has fiber optic in it, and then this section here will be the next one to be done, but get that done first. So here's what I've come up with. It looks like a lot of lights, and it may very well be, but when you flip it over, you can see. I'll tell you what, let me turn some of these lights out. There we go. Now you can see all the windows, and I think I plugged up some right in this area here with tulip. I had a light leak, so I'll go back in and open those up. But yeah, it's looking pretty good. You guys have seen, well, you didn't see where I put I've got the LED tape in there now, and give me just a second, I'll switch that on. I can't do both of them at once. I'm running this off of going to run this off of a 12 volt, and you can see that it's extremely bright underneath, but once it's closed up, then it gives me the light where I want it. So hang on, I'll be right back. Okay, you can see it, the camera's overexposing it, but if you move in close, you can see it'll step it down. But running it off of 12 volts, got the engines all on, and yeah, they do get really, really bright. But yep, now this is going to be, you can see in behind it's not really showing a lot of light, so it's going to be forcing it out through the front holes. And when I put the top part on, it has a little lip right here. I'm going to have to go in, and the holes that are higher up, I'm going to have to go back in and run a drill through those. So, but like that pod there is getting fiber optic, this pod here, and I've still got to do around the hanger bay there. I've got a box that I've made, and I'm gonna have 2 strips of LEDs in the top, so it'll force the lights out through the holes, and so it'll show out through those. So getting there. Not going to show much more. I will show some of the fiber optics going in, but I'm not going to show much more because I want to leave that for the final video. I do have, and I'm letting it set up right now, I've got the bridge section closed up. You can see the light that's coming off those engines. We'll move over here. There's just a little bit of a light leak, and I'm going to go around the top edge of it with my my paint that's in that little bottle right there. So, okay, working out some more of the lighting detail. This is a box that I made a while back for the hangar bay. And yeah, it's kind of bright, but you can see I've got 2 strips of 8, so 16 LEDs. And all it does is just sit right down over the hangar bay, and it will be glued into position. And it gives me the hangar bay lights like I wanted. So, one more thing down. I think that I'm about ready. Once I get that secured down, I think I'm about ready to start putting LEDs in these pods. Still got to figure out what I'm going to do here. I think that I've got some 1mm fiber optic. I think that I'm just going to cut it and put it in those holes and let the ambient light light it up. Because in the movie, I never seen it lit up really well, so not as bright as not as bright as the hangar bay here. So yeah, we're getting closer. Like I say, once I get that done, I'll start putting in some of the fiber optics. So I've still got to go in and do the fiber optics for these. That's all I got left to do, really, is put the fiber optics in those, and that's going to take a few days. This had to sit overnight, and what I did was put tulip in to hold the fiber optics in place. I bloomed them. What blooming is, you hold it up, the fiber optic up to the end of or next to a flame, and it mushrooms the end out. That's called blooming, mushrooming, whatever you want to call it. And I've got them all trailed back to here right now with a 3mm LED, white LED in it. And there's what the fiber optics look like. Hang on, let me turn these lights out. But that's what it'll look like. All these pods like that one and everything, that will be, it will have fiber optics in it. So, and that's what she looks like. And there's a few of them I'm gonna have to go back in and trim up because they're a little long. I didn't get them exactly right, but something keeps pulling on my thing there. Sorry about that. But that's the end of it. I will catch you in the last update on the starter story here.